We're live.
Hello,
Yay.
everybody.
Welcome, welcome. So Andrew, you get to do the introductions again.
Okay, so my name is Andrew Berry. I'm a goldsmith jewelry designer here in the UK. I'll put this up. So to those who no harm with a bit of advertising.
Well, that's who we are and how to find us.
So if
Yes.
you want to follow us on Twitter, we also Periscope occasionally as well. These are our names. And yeah, so we're here this evening. We're going to talk more about tools. We did a Blab, I think it was before Christmas now, our sort of top 10 or top 5 tools each. And it's very, very hard to get your top 5 tools. So we've sort of gone on to our next top 5 each. And this is what Blab is going to be all about today.
Yeah, who can pick just 5?
It's a hard one now. So I shall pass you over to my colleague.
Oh, yes. Hi. Thank you. I'm Ginger Meek Allen. I am a goldsmith, metalsmith, and jeweler here in North Carolina on the East Coast in the United States. And calling into the Blab here with Andrew, and I'm in my studio, have my bench behind me, and going to reach back there in a minute and show some of my favorites. The last Blab we did on tools, I think we focused on hand tools, and I think we've kind of done that again this time, although I have one design tool and one soldering thing that I wanted to share. So I'm expanding it just a little bit this time.
You see, I'm quite limited. I'm at home, so I can't really let a double-ended polishing motor home or anything like that. So I have to concentrate on my hand tools. Yes,
yes. Well, there's always plenty to choose from in your studio. Before we start, I have a question for you, though. What is the newest tool you have?
Me.
Yeah, not with you now, just in your studio, period. What's the most recent thing you bought?
Oh, I bought.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. That isn't my newest tool, though.
It isn't? Okay, well, what's the most recent thing that you acquired?
I acquired some sample tools that I'm not even going to tell you about from GRS that are still under wraps at the moment.
And you can't tell us because
I'm going to point this reply to your question. So what would be my latest? My latest would be those pliers that I bought at Christmas time.
Oh, the blue ones, yeah.
The blue handles.
This one.
Those are the last things I bought. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very good.
Yeah, this is from the last Blab that we did on tools. Yeah.
Yeah. And yourself? What's the latest thing that you bought?
The latest thing I bought was my vacuum caster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've yet to try mine out.
I can't believe that you've had it this long and you haven't fired it up yet.
No, I know I'm scared at the moment.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Yeah, you will. You'll be so impressed with that.
I hope so.
The power of that, and remember to turn it on correctly.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to relabel it. I think the labels have worn off, so I'm gonna have to redo that.
Dee wants to know if the wood tips on these can be replaced, and I'm pretty sure they can. I think when I bought them, I saw that you could buy replacement wood.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, it just screws in right there. They're parallel action and they lock. So if you squeeze it good and tight, it's going to hold whatever's in there, so you can really save your hands. It really is good on the fingers for holding something while you're working on it. Yeah. So we should jump in, don't you think?
Yes, I think so. Ladies first?
Would you like to start?
No, ladies first.
Oh, ladies first. All right. So I think I'll go with, because it's sitting in front of me on the desk here, and then I can move it because it's big. It's in my way. I'll do it first. So when I'm soldering and setting up pieces and parts that need to be centered and straight, I like to spin them around so I can see them.
Not you spinning, but the actual.
Yeah, not me spinning. I like to spin the work. So I have 3 ways of doing that, and this is just an annealing pan, right? And it will. It's a nice fluid spin. This is if I'm working big, and I also have smaller version of the annealing pan. right? But what I will do is I'll put my soldering brick on this so I can spin it around. Another way you can do this is with this handy little thing, and these are filthy because I've had them for years, but it has a Lazy Susan on the bottom and it spins around.
Yeah.
And this one comes with this really hard brick, but it's a 6-inch block and you can pop it out like that.
Very good.
If you don't want a reflective surface like that. And this 6-inch solderite pad just fits right in there like that.
That's very
and
good.
Again, it just allows me to turn things around. And I will spin like while I've got heat on something.
Yes.
So that I can continue to see it from all sides. So I know that the position is good.
Yeah.
So that's my number one.
That's very good.
Spinning.
Very good. Okay, so my number one, I'm going to start really, really small.
Okay.
And it's something that that one of our Metalsmithing Mastermind groupees has just done very successfully, which is the flush setting.
Yes, Carolyn did an excellent job on her ring.
Fantastic on that. So what I have simply brought, and I would not do without it, is something that is so simple. And all of this is a very, very tiny burnisher. That's all. That's all it is. So you can't necessarily buy them, but if I can focus on that, there we go. That's all it is. And I think this is an old beading tool that I just simply rounded the end and polished a nice, really fine tip. Or this could well have been an old burr, a very small bull burr, perhaps with a very fine point. Rounded the end off, polish it all up. Fits into a simple little handle. And with this, you can go around the insides of your, if you're flush setting, the insides of the hole, just to burnish the edge around, all the way around, and get a lovely shiny edge to your setting. A lot of people use things like the big burnishers, and they sort of force little bits of metal down all the way around. But then that produces lots of marks that you have to try and get out. By having a lovely little small little polished burnisher, we can just burnish it all the way around, and you get a lovely, fantastic, shiny finish right next to your stone.
Nice.
So there we go. That's all it is. It's just a very simple burnisher, and I would not do without it. I've got various different sizes, some very fine pointed ones, some that are a little bit bigger.
I was going to ask you, how would you describe the tip on that? Is it more of a flat round, or is it? I can't see.
I can't quite see it. Can you? It is. It is completely rounded. It just comes up to a. I'll draw it for you.
Perfect.
I'll draw it for you. Little rounded tip. There we go. Like that. There we go. Okay.
Got it.
So it's pointed, but there's no direct point. Yeah, and it's just slightly rounded. But all this area around here is all highly polished. So as you burnish the metal, it leaves a lovely shiny edge to your stone.
How often do you find you have to repolish it?
I normally do it every couple of weeks.
Do you?
Simply just put it onto the Tripoli and onto the Rouge mop, just to make sure it is nicely polished.
Nice.
And that's all that is. But it is. It's so simple. How did you file it? I would have used perhaps the end of a buff stick with a little bit of emery paper, or I would have used a small little Arkansas block.
Arkansas stone.
Yeah, just to round it off, and then polish it down on the polishing mops. There we go. That's it. That's all it is.
I have a friend who puts anytime he's trying to do a rounded tip on a tool, a custom tool, he puts the body of it in the drill press.
Okay.
Turns on the drill press and then brings the file to it, or the sanding stick or whatever. So that way you know it's spinning perfectly as it spins. Yeah, there you go.
You can put it into your handpiece as well, yeah.
You know you're going to end up with a completely balanced treatment on all sides.
Good idea.
Nice. Good. Okay.
Good. Number two.
Excellent.
Number two for you.
Number two for me. Number two for me, I have an assortment here of calipers. It's kind of a measuring thing. this is pretty straightforward digital caliper. But what I wanted to show you was some other variations on that. And that is this one, if I can get it to come in right. See this little guy?
That's cute.
It's cute. It's so handy. It's a precision kind of a thing. It's an antique. I couldn't tell you where to get one now. Maybe a watchmaker thing or something. But what I love about it is this little point on the end comes out as you are. Can you see that at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. If you move this one, that comes out. And you can use it to measure the depth inside something. So I use that a lot in stone setting so that I can figure out how deep down, how far down something goes, and I can match that to it. These are calipers that I like to use to measure inside. So all it is as that opens up, over here, it gives you the millimeter measurement. So it's I guess analog, you would say, right? Mm-hmm. But I polished the end on this, on one of them, filed it down to a really fine point, and I polished the end so that it fits inside and makes a precision point if what I'm touching isn't flat. Let's say it's an angled surface. Yeah. Because if this was a blunt end, yes, I would get it wouldn't hit all the way and it would give me a wrong measurement. So I did that. And this is just a slightly larger version of the same thing. And so these calipers for inside, what would you call that, Andrew?
They're just calipers, aren't they?
They're calipers, but they're different from, like, this caliper isn't going to fit. No. Like if it's something with a wall I got to go around. That's why I like these because of the way that's shaped.
That's why I liked that that leverage gauge that I showed in the last Blab, because the teeth came this way. Which means then you can actually go into the settings or the inside all in one.
Yeah. So something to think about if you're going to buy one, get one that has this kind of teeth on it and not flat necessarily. Okay, your turn.
As I said, I've just got something that is just so simple. We all know about when you're sawing or when you're drilling, you can use spit as a bit of a lubrication. We don't like using spit, so you can buy the little tubs, little containers of things like Burlife and Cool Heat, which are great. But what I've got fastened to the side of my bench peg is. This is some Burlife, and it's a simple little Burlife conical piece of wax.
That one looks brand new. Is it brand new?
Yeah, this is brand new. Yeah. So the idea is you've got a little plastic end here. You've got a little plastic adapter that will screw onto the side of your bench pin. That will slot into it. So you've literally got the wax or the Burlife, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, right next to your saw. So you can come along, pass your saw through it, carry on cutting. If you're drilling on your bench peg, you can just tap the drill into it and carry on drilling. And I find that some people say lubrication doesn't really help make the things cut, but I think it really does.
I think it does too.
Whether you spit on it or whether you use the Burlife. But this is ideal because you don't have to go picking it up to rub it up onto the saw frame.
Right.
It's right by the side of your bench peg. You're working away, run the saw through it and carry on working. So it saves a lot of time, a lot of hassle. And one of these would last us a couple of years.
Yes. And
again, I always try and keep the plastic on it then overnight because occasionally it does get knocked off. And that's it. That is something so simple.
So I don't have the handy little stand and the cone that fits in there, which I've always loved. I've seen this before, but I taped. See that right there? Yeah. I taped my Burlife tube to my flex shaft pole.
Yeah.
So it's like taped around. So it's the same thing. It's just sitting up there, and I don't have to pick it up and take it. I can just go, and it's there. So same concept.
Again, you're only saving yourself a few seconds but you always know where it is, and it's always right at the side of you. And over the course of a day, it'll save you a couple of minutes, and over the course of a year, it'll save you quite a few hours.
Well, and it's good for your concentration when you're working, because you don't have to interrupt the cadence of whatever you're doing to go get it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And especially if you're working with somebody on a bench by the side of you and they pinch it, and then you got to go on their desk and try and find it. But that's Jason can't pinch that.
He can't. No. Sweet.
There we
awesome.
go. So,
all right.
So Lynn says she has some beeswax taped to the edge of the bench. Exactly. Spot on.
Exactly. Yep. And let me just say hey to everybody. Hello, everybody. We have 15 people in at the moment. So hello. If you weren't here at the beginning, I just want to welcome you. All right. You good? You ready?
Yeah, you carry on.
I have a little design trick. So I studied graphic design in college. And this is a tool. Do you know what this is? This is part of my graphic design background back before
computers. Showing your age.
I am showing my age. You're supposed to say, you don't look that old, Ginger. But yes, before computers, we didn't have. They were a brand new thing when I was in college. So this is a proportion scale. And yes, I know there are apps that will do this. And yes, I know there are other more handy, fun devices, but I love using this thing. You find, let's say I've drawn a design and I'm drawing it by hand. So my hand sketch is not going to be scaled necessarily perfectly, especially if it's an ornamental kind of thing or a bird or, something like that. So, and when I get ready to transfer the design to my piece, this is a real low-tech manual way to do it, but I do have a copier that I can increase or reduce. Yeah. So you find your size of the original is on this dial.
Okay.
And reproduction size is on this size. So let's say my original measures an inch and I want it to measure 2 inches. And let's make it harder than that. 1 5/8. So I put 1, you can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, I match 1 to 1 5/8. And then that tells me that it's 163%.
Oh,
I'm going to enlarge it. It's just, it's funny that I even still have this. This is vintage tool.
You don't look old enough.
Good. I gave you an opportunity.
That was the right thing to say.
That was your moment. So anyway, this is my low tech.
That's very good. I didn't even know that existed. That's a very good idea. Because
so you're even older than I am. No.
Yeah, so I didn't even know that existed. I just put things. A lot of the times, I use things like Photoshop, you see, and then I get the image and then scale it down on that. But yeah, that's very, very precise. I do like that.
Well, I guess I'm a little bit of a old school. I still like to draw on a piece of paper with a pencil.
Yeah.
And I do digital stuff too, but there are just times when that's how it comes out. And so if that's how it's come, I can always scan it in and go from there. But I love this thing. And it's even got my initials on it from when I wrote my name on it.
Oh, can you still buy them?
My last name was different, huh?
Can you still buy them?
I'm sure you can. I should have checked, but it's a good question. Yeah. Kathy's wondering the same thing. We'll have to find out and find out if there's eBay, if nothing else, right?
So what is it called? A proportional scale?
Proportion scale.
Proportional scale. Okay, cool.
That's it right there.
I'm going to write that down now. I like that. Okay.
Graphic design tool.
Very good. I do like that.
Yeah.
Never cease to amaze me.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, so I suppose this is a bit of a cheat because it isn't necessarily an actual tool that I use on the bench, but we use it, and I'm sure you use it, and everyone else on here uses it every day within their day-to-day work, basically. And it is the phone.
Hey, I got one of those.
You got one, exactly. So you may be thinking, well, that's cheating, because that really isn't the right thing. But you've got a couple of apps that you can put on here. We've got on this one, we've got obviously Tim McCree's The Metalsmith Suite. Can't quite see that, but anyway, it's on there, and that's very, very good. Use that quite a bit. And there's another one here by a British company called Jewel Tool.
Jewel Tool. What does that do? Let me write that down.
Jewel Tool. So there's a free version and there's a paid version. And as well as the things that Tim's does, where it has waxed weight metals, gem sizes, it does online precious metal prices as well. Tells you all about the gemstones, that sort of thing. But you can input clients' details.
Oh.
Say
it's a CRM?
Pardon?
It's a CRM?
Yeah, you could call it that way. But what you can also do, got things coming through. You've got a customer database, but you've also got an inventory database. So say you are making a simple ring using some castings, and you've got some knife edge castings, open shoulder castings, you've got settings or whatever. You can actually input all that information in here, what it costs you, and then you can put these items together and it'll actually calculate a price for you. You can put in your hourly rate and how long things take to polish up, and it'll work it all out for you as well. I don't use it. Can I find this? Not this particular one, but I find this very long-winded. But then you see, you can put together quotations for people. Then you can actually email those quotations off with prices and all that sort of thing as well. It is a good one, but I haven't spent time going through it, putting all the information into it just yet.
How's it spelled? The name of it?
Jewel, Jewel, and then Tool, Tool.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jewel Tool. There's a free version. It's available from the iTunes store. But then you can also use the phone for taking your pictures as well. And as everyone else does probably, and you can buy lenses then that actually fit over the top to get really, really close into things. And you can get some nice close-ups. And perhaps you want to show a customer that one of their stones is cracked. Put on a macro lens. You can get right close up, take a photograph, and show them the particular crack in the stone beforehand, before you start work on it as well. Or upload it to your social media, blah, 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 and that sort of thing. So although it's a phone, it has a lot more beneficial uses than just being a phone.
It's a computer.
It is. It's and that's about. And I'm sure there's lots of other apps out there as well. Anyway, so there we go. The phone and the apps and the camera. Use it every single day.
I use mine all the time.
Exactly. Oh, well, we got Shelley's asking. So I've got quite cheap clip-on lenses, which you can buy on Amazon, and then you've also got the Olo clips as well. So these are the Olo clips that slot over the top, and that will slot over. Very good, because these are fantastically brilliant lenses. The macro, you can go so close up. These are a bit limited. These are only about, I don't know, £10, £15, and you can get some macro versions as well. But the Olo clips, I think they're about £60, £70, but they are a lot better.
And I have one that was super cheap, but it fits like that one with the Olo clip that like slides on instead of the climpy thingy.
Yes.
So I guess the difference is in the quality of the lens itself, right?
It is. I know the Olo clips are expensive, but they are one of the best. These little clip-on ones are obviously £10, $15, $18, so they're going to have their limited use. But it depends on really what you want to spend.
Incidentally, too, we have an event coming up here. It's in North Carolina in May. SNAG, Society of North American Goldsmiths, meeting this year is going to be in Asheville, North Carolina. And I don't remember the guy's name, but there's someone doing a training on using your iPhone in your business.
Yeah.
So it's certainly
it's absolutely
a great topic.
Why I use things like Hootsuite that will schedule your posts to all your social medias, whether it be your Twitter or your Facebook, and you can just do all your tweets, all your Facebook posts in 5 minutes, and you can schedule it to come out when you want it to.
Yeah. Shelley wants to know how you're doing that.
Do I?
You see Shelley's question. What are you typing with, Andrew? I can see both your hands. I think he's just super fast.
Anyway, there we go. So that was number 3.
Okay. What is my next one? Okay, so hold on a second. It is a disc cutter. And I have 2 of them. This is my favorite one. And I actually have more than these in the studio, but these are the ones that I use the most. The biggest difference in them, I mean, obviously, this is used to cut circles, right? Mm-hmm. So for those who may not realize, you open this up, and the whole top comes off. You put a piece of metal in there. You put the top back on. You put the punch in place. You hit it one good time with a heavy mallet. It pushes through, and it'll cut a perfect circle for you. This one, the top comes off completely. So when I go to put my metal in there, I have to make sure I'm applying pressure to this top so that nothing shifts and moves around. This one, in addition to having lots more sizes and options, it has a spring in it, and this screw, you screw this up, and you see how that's lets that float. And then once I get my metal in there, I just screw it down. You can see it goes down, and it holds nice and tight, so I don't have to make sure everything's, it does it for me, which I love. I have another one in the way back that I never use. I should have brought it, but it has a little, it's similar to this in that the top lifts off completely, but it has a little stop in here that, or maybe it doesn't lift off at all. I think it doesn't lift off at all. And it has a stop in it, and it always stays at the same depth. I don't like that because it's too easy for things to move. If you don't fill it completely with whatever you're trying to cut, it can shift. The punch can move when you go to hit it. So not recommended. Make sure you get one that's tight.
Yes, because I've got a cheap Indian one, and there is a gap. So I made a very thin wooden wedge. So you put the metal in and then put the wooden wedge in to hold the metal down whilst you stamp it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good.
Or Shelley uses card or copper to fill the gap.
Fill the gap. Yep. The thing about this too is, and you can get cutters that cut other shapes as well. I use a lot of circles in my work, and this saves me so much time. I have a friend who also uses a lot of circles in her work, and she buys the discs already cut, which means she's paying a lot more per piece than cutting them yourself. And then the leftover that's, after I cut my circles out, I melt that down and I use it for other stuff. So there's no waste.
Exactly.
And, but if you're not in a position to melt down your own scrap, then you would have waste with this. So just different ways of doing things. But I love my disc cutters.
Or you can always send it back off to the refiners as well.
You can. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's what she does, my friend.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, great. Your turn.
You see, I've got one that I can't bring out yet because you haven't shown yours yet. So I can't bring that one out yet.
I was saving my last one. Is that the?
Yeah.
Oh, so, do you want me to go ahead and do that other one?
No. Well, I can't. I can't remember whether I did these last time. But again, with the leverage gauge, which is that millimeter gauge on a round dial, I did have some calipers. But you've covered calipers, so I may not bring that up. So all I was just going to bring up was the rhino skin. And did I do this last time? I can't remember.
I don't. Yeah, I think you did a. I think you did a periscope on it.
Was it? Okay. So alligator skin, crocodile skin. It's just simply like a green gauze that is very, very slightly tacky, and doesn't necessarily stick to your fingers. But when you actually wrap it around your finger to protect your finger, then it will sort of stick together.
Yes.
And you use it all the time, because we often see you with these all over your fingers as well. Really, really good. I don't use it all the time though. I tend to use this around about Christmas time when we're constantly polishing. But I like to get my fingers dirty. I can't get this off now. So the idea is just simply crocodile skin protecting your manicures. Yeah, see, I don't have that. Yeah, literally can't get it off. So Shelley said, well, for horse addicts, it's the same as vet. Yeah, that's it. Exactly it.
Great.
And that's what it is. It's like crocodile skin, alligator skin. There are several ways that I use it. I will quickly show you one now. Because when you wrap it around your finger, it doesn't really protect the end of your finger. So I just cut a piece that's about 3 inches, fold it in half, and then I just wrap it over the end of my thumb, like that. Then I will just get the wrap and then literally just wrap that around and around. So then the end of my thumb then is nicely protected as well.
And I just, when I'm wrapping, I have one right over there, but when I'm wrapping, I'll wrap over this side of the end, and then I'll go around, and then I'll wrap over that side. I don't cut a separate piece, but because you can kind of twist it and fold it, and it'll mold to what you want it to do.
And the best thing is then you can take them off, go and see to your client, get back to the bench, and stick it back on.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's it. So simple, cheap, and easy.
Love it. One thing I will add about the alligator skin is that I use it so much that I bought like a bulk, big amount of it, and I found out that if you don't store it in an airtight bag, it'll dry out on you.
Yes.
Yeah. So make sure you have whatever your backup supply is, that you keep it airtight.
Yeah, I think I've got like 3 or 4 of these in sort of various stages of use, and I know there is one that it is quite a dry. As you say, it does lose its tackiness.
Yeah, and once that happens, it won't stick. It won't stick anymore.
No.
Well, wonder what would happen if we like brushed it lightly with a torch. Would that bring the tacky back, you think?
But when it's on your finger, or when it's on the roll?
I don't know. That's just way too much insight into how my brain works.
We'll let you try that, okay? Then you can report back to us.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might melt. It'd be really, to have great torch control. Bringing the tacky back. Okay, so I'm gonna have to like pick up my computer to come over here and show my fifth and final favorite. And it's kind of a complex thing with a lot of parts. So it's going to take me a few minutes to explain all of it. I'm going to do the best I can, everybody, because I'm going to be trying to bounce a laptop and move parts. So I might have to like pick the computer up, put it back. And I apologize in advance for all of that. But I want to show you the GRS system that I love. Can you see this? Okay, Andrew, you let me know.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All right. So this is a ball vise. This is an engraver's ball vise. And it spins. And you guys know how I feel about spinning.
Yes.
I use this punch when I don't want it to spin to lock it in place. And this is just an old ball punch that is the right size to fit and hold it. It's sitting in this little leather donut, which allows me to position it whichever way works for me at the time. Right now, today I set a stone in this pendant, and so I've got. Let me zoom in so you can see. Can you see that?
Cool. Yeah.
So these are the attachments that go with it, and basically, let me take these out. I don't normally do anything with my left hand. So these come out, obviously. And here I have this screwdriver that is the perfect size. I can. So that's how you can open up the jaws. I'm sure they make a tool to do this, and there is a. So keep in mind that I got this. I've had this for so long that I don't know. This is my.
Yeah.
I don't know where the thing for this is. So that's me finding something that works.
Because isn't there a hex bolt on the end?
On the end, no, it's flat.
Oh, is it?
Flat.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how old it is. It's flat. Just this is the perfect size for it. This screwdriver.
Before hex bolts came into popularity.
Yeah. Again, about the time of my proportional scale, I guess. So obviously, you can use these attachments and basically make any configuration you want.
Mm.
So the thing about it, though, this is heavy. Hold on a second. The thing is very heavy.
I've got a lot of the mini vise coming from Sutton's. Because I don't need anything that large. I've got a much smaller one.
Okay.
But again, yes, you can use the shelf as well with it, just to.
Yeah. So this is the shelf, and this wedges in. You can see the way that works is that it goes into the GRS plate, which is the mounting plate that goes on the front of the bench. My bench is a watchmaker's bench, so I've modified this. Mm-hmm. I cut this little part out so this was flush, and that gave me enough depth to attach this. I also have this, and keep in mind too that all of my bench pins fit as well. I've got one that's flat. I have another one that's at an angle that goes on there like that. But this part I like a lot. Oh, and there's also I'm getting it here.
Just like Inspector
this one. Pardon?
Like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Is it a UK thing? I don't know.
This one, this one will elevate the plate for me. So that plate's here, and then there's another plate. So if and where's my piercing? Well, wouldn't you know, I can't find it right now. It's somewhere in here. I have a piercing plate that goes up here too. And sometimes when I'm doing a lot of piercing, I want that up higher. And I don't know where it is right now. Wouldn't you know it? But anyway, this is the vise. And
because you can also use that extension that raised it to lower it as well.
If you turn it on the other way. Yes. Yeah. So these have a direction to them. You know what I mean? So like the way they work is it's like a tapered, angled thing. Yeah. So for it to go on, and it tightens as it goes down. Yes. So you would have to reposition these to make it lower. Exactly. So, but yes, you're exactly right. And
any reason why the dovetail plate isn't flush with the top of your bench?
Any reason why the dovetail plate's not flush? Only because I was trying to get the screws in, and if my bench was thicker, if I made it lower, it would hit this drawer.
Right, okay. Oh, fair comment, yeah, well done.
Yeah, so I wanted to keep my drawer. So I also, this has two different ring vices here. This one squeezes in like a standard ring vise like that and holds something from the outside. And then this is a clamp that holds a ring from the inside. These are all of the attachments that go with it. So we can hold rings of any size. And I'm going to see if I can do this with one hand. I need for it to stop spinning on me now.
Did yours come with a little metal plate that's slotted onto the piece that comes out at 90 degrees to the bench?
Yes. Yes.
I took mine off as well.
I don't use it.
No, it just gets in the way.
I never have used it.
No.
So, but this is, it came with some other stuff too. It came with a bunch of stuff. I'm showing you the part that I use the most. So how this works is that this is the ring I set the stone in today. And as you are, these have a slot in them right here. And as you tighten it, that piece that goes inside there is tapered and it spreads. So when you put the ring in, it spreads outward and holds the ring from the inside.
Yes.
That way, when you have rings that have weird shapes or pieces and parts that would get smashed, if you put it inside a clamp like that, you can hold it from the inside. And this it holds it perfectly stable. So I've got both my hands free to do whatever else I need to do. Just add stone. You can use it for all kinds of things. So that's, that's that.
It is a completely, you don't realize how much you're going to use it until you actually buy it. And you know,
I use it all the time.
You really do. Because the advantage is you're not having to hold the ring or whatever it is in the ring clamp. You can put it into that and you've got both hands free. Because a lot of the times I was working years ago and the ring was in the ring clamp and you got perhaps a little grave and you're trying to raise a couple of grains and you push too much and the ring will twist all the way around. The grave then will carry on. And the number of marks I've got on my hands from where the grave is dug into this fleshy part here, it's just crazy. So by having that system, you've got both hands free. So this hand that is normally holding is not holding, but you can still use the hands then to position the gravers or whatever you are, and you get much better finer control.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have, they have different kits. I think this one is the Stone Setters kit. Yeah. You can buy, I believe you can buy the individual pieces and parts, but if you go ahead and buy a set, it's actually saves some money that way. Right. And it's expensive. I mean, it's not a small thing, but I have to tell you the amount of agony and time that it saves, it's so worth it.
Absolutely.
So worth
it. It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile getting the bench pin adapter as well, because once you push that on, put that onto your bench, you can't use a normal bench pin. So the bench pin adapter can just slot onto it, and as you say, you can have a few of them. You can change the bench pins. You can turn it over so they're upside down, so they're flat when you're piercing, like that one. Absolutely brilliant. So if you can afford it, I would go for the kit that has the bench pin and the outside one, the outside ring clamp to start off with. I don't tend to use the inside one that often.
That's funny because the inside one is the one I use the most.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, but I tend to make wide rings, and I tend to make rings that have dual wall, open sides, and I can't put that in a.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, and so I think it might depend on the nature of your work. If you're doing more traditional shanks like this, then you really don't need it. Yeah. But if you're doing really wide shanks, or you're doing like I said, weird ginger style kind of things, then then you want it. But yeah, I think that's it. I wish I knew where that piercing plate was. I've stuck it in a drawer or something. I'm sure it's, I forgot this part. One more thing. Okay, Andrew.
Oh yeah, it's okay. I'll wait. It's okay.
Sorry. Soldering board. So I could solder.
Yes.
And it has a third hand that fits. This is tricky for me to hold and talk and do this all at one time. Anyway, I can't get in it right now, but so it's got two third hands that will come up from either side. And I use this with my little torch. I don't use my big torch over here, but the little torch like this, and when especially if I'm doing super fine kind of delicate soldering where I'm going to have a really tiny flame and I'm going to have my visor on, I'm going to be down tight on it. I really like the position of this. And so, yeah, that's, yep.
It also brings it out towards you as well, so you're not having to lean and hunch over the bench.
And then this too, shellac pad fits in the vise there. And if you're somebody who likes to do a lot of chasing, repoussé or whatever, you can warm this up and put pitch on it. Or this is German shellac I've got on mine to hold something nice and tight when you're working on it.
Yeah. No, it is a brilliant.
Yeah. And I think I was thinking if I went deep enough into that blue box, I would find that piercing plate, but it's not in there. Okay, I'm going back.
Good. And there's a couple of questions coming up there. It's okay. The new concepts have, because a lot of the times people's benches aren't deep enough to put that dovetail plate on. So new concepts have the clamp that clamps onto the side of the bench, and that has the dovetail plate built into it. So then you can use all the GRS products with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Is the clamp? I mean, because this is pretty tight. You can't move it at all. The clamp projects back on the top of the bench by about 3-4 inches, so it has the support there, and it's got a nice big thick clamp, screw clamp underneath as well, so it doesn't budge. Mm-hmm. Absolutely brilliant. I've got a couple of those. And I helped. There's one style of those that I think Lee's brought a couple out, and one of them I helped design. One of them was one with the concentric circles across the top. Okay. It's out of hardened aluminium. So the old ones you can't hammer on, but recently he's put a round hardened steel disc in the clamp, so you can use it as an anvil as well. Oh, nice!
Which is,
wow.
Which is pretty good. Pretty good.
Brilliant. That's awesome.
So there we go.
Look, before we, there's some questions on here. What attachment would you use to hold something like a pendant when setting a stone? Kathy, that shellac pad that I showed you at the end, that would be the way you would, if there's no other way to hold something, you can warm it up and set it down there. And it's kind of the way old school engraving used to be done, and still is. But also the ball vise that I showed you at the beginning has so many little fingers and attachments and positions that it's very rare that I have something that I can't. It might take me a while to figure out how to configure all the attachments.
Because GRS also have a product called Thermalock that warms up, becomes malleable, and I've got that just molded over the top of that shellac plate because I'm not posh enough to have shellac. You see.
Posh? It's not posh. It's nasty. It's old.
So I use that, and you just warm that up as well. And I find that is better than the shellac, because the shellac leaves little bits and pieces in all the crevices that you got to try and get off.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about it.
Well, you want to be with shellac. I tend to. The torch is right there, and the torch is usually the first thing I want. Obviously, when I want to heat something up, grab a torch. Yeah. But a heat gun is better because it's a little bit warmer and more of a heated environment and not like a point of heat. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people also use microwave to warm up the GRS Thermalock as well.
Oh, okay.
Apart from once you put your metal stuff in it, you can't put it back in the microwave to sort of soften it because you're going to get firework display in the microwave.
Yeah, you can't put the metal in there.
No.
Yeah.
And also, and also Jet Set as well is the same sort of stuff as the GRS Thermalock as well.
I have some Jet Set and I've never used it.
Very good. It is.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So, were there any other questions?
How often do you?
Yes, how often do I? Almost every day, depending on what I'm working on at the time. But I solder on it a lot. And Miss Kim is our Kim, Andrew, from the Metalsmithing Mastermind.
I
Who was asking the questions.
Yes.
Yeah, she's overwhelmed by the price. Yes. I think that I had I bought the Stone Setters kit probably, and no, it's a lot of money, but I think I bought it at least 10 to 12 years ago. And I haven't broken any of the parts. I use it all the time. I mean, it's a good investment.
Definitely.
So yeah. GRS system. Okay, I'm just trying to look through, make sure we got all the questions. Andrew, you said you had one more thing.
I got one more thing that I find is quite handy when we come to some wax turning. Okay, so say you want to turn a ring, turn some bezels, turn some bezels with lines down it, rings with grooves down the center. Really hard to hold on to perhaps your flex shaft handpiece. Okay, so I've brought around the number 30, the Jacobs check. So we use this quite a bit when we come to do our wax turning, but the problem is you have to try and hold this somewhere. And a lot of people will actually put that into a vise, but sometimes the vise is not near to where your flex shaft is. So there's something out there that Kate Wolf, the wax lady, the wax carving lady, she sells it, and it's just simply a simple plastic collar that you can put the handpiece in, and then this is the right size to fit into the GRS. So you,
no kidding.
So you take out obviously the ring clamp, that slots in, so then you can, it's
take this out.
Yeah, purposely made for that, and then that slots in to that, and you can tighten it up, and then unscrew the knob, and then you can turn that horizontal.
Yeah, then you could turn it whichever way you want to turn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then also there's something else, and I'll quickly sneak this in as well because it's on the similar sort of line. She also does a milling table with the same collar already fastened onto that. So again, you can simply put your handpiece into that. You'd have a burr perhaps on the end.
Nice.
So that then would fit into your GRS.
Love it. Yeah. I love it. I did not know that existed. I'm so excited.
And you can actually then access the jack through the gap, and you can change it then to whether you want like a ball wax burr, or perhaps like a very narrow, I'm not quite sure what they're called, cylinder burr, but very, very narrow if you want to cut channels into waxes, and you can use the table. And there's also a version with the table can actually be altered as well. So it's simply just these little collars that enables these handpieces to fit into the GRS as well.
Do you know how much they are?
I was given these. I don't know how much they were, but they're not expensive. That I don't know. That can't be much. Just
I mean, I can't imagine that it would be that bad.
It's a very simple bit of plastic. I'm not even sure how much that is. What's that? I don't know, $40-50 perhaps, if that really. But that little collar, really good. And again, I use them quite often when I want to play around with some waxes. Yeah.
I have a thing called the jump ringer. It's in the back. I'm not going to get it out right now, but it has a similar sort of thing where you put the flex shaft handle, the handpiece into a holding device.
Yes.
And this handpiece, this one is like the number 30, but I don't know what number this is. Or would it say on there? It's not Fordham. That's why. But anyway, it won't fit. It's too big.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. I do have a number 30 Fordham handpiece that's on my other flex shaft on my drill press. And I always have to go get that and borrow it from the drill press because this also won't fit in the drill press because it's too big. So little things like that you don't think about, because they all look the same, but they're not.
But even going back to what you were saying right at the very, very beginning, when you actually want to get your little burnishing tool really nicely, evenly tapered, you could put the handpiece into the GRS,
yep.
and you've got two hands free to play around with it, as opposed to having to hold this, whereas that is completely.
Basically, you're making a lathe
yes.
out of it.
Oh yeah, that's it. Exactly it.
Yeah.
Although we don't necessarily have anything to hold your hands on, you have to improvise.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So that's just like a little collar that goes on your handpiece that enables you to use it with the GRS system. Ta-da!
Yes. Yay! Ding, ding, ding! Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Look at that! Look at that! Spot on time. Look at that! 1 hour.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent.
That's not like us at all.
Well, we did it. We decided we wanted to keep this to an hour, and it's 4:59, so or on the East Coast, Eastern time. So we did it, Andrew. I'm so excited.
I think perhaps. Oh, sorry. Go on. Last thing. Go on.
No, please.
I was going to say perhaps if anyone wants to come on, and if they've got the webcam, we can open a seat up for them and they can jump on. If they want to have a chat, they're more than welcome to.
Yep. So there is an open seat if anybody wants to call in. And while you guys are calling in, I want to just mention this, bit.ly/metalsmith. Andrew and I do something together called the Metalsmithing Mastermind. And it is a learning opportunity for metalsmiths and makers. It runs on a 6-month cycle. It's a private closed group, and we have openings starting in July. So if anyone would like to learn more about that, we did a Blab back in December, I think it was, Andrew, that you can find on our Blab profiles or on YouTube at Ginger Meek Allen, where we fully explained what the Metalsmithing Mastermind is. But just for now, I just wanted to mention bit.ly/metalsmith. If you are a maker or a metalsmith and you are interested in having a way to improve your work, both at the bench and business-wise. So I just wanted to mention that. Metalsmithing Mastermind. And let's see. No one seems to be calling in, Andrew.
No, I think we've either worn them out or they are totally satisfied with what we've given them.
Let's go with the last one. What do you think?
Well, so is there anybody out there who just wants to come along and just say hello or ask any further questions on anything that we've shown today, or any questions at all about anything jewelry related? Oh, Christy wants to know what my shirt says. Don't get offended. It says, "Put the fun between your legs." Sorry.
Very good.
Like that one.
Andrew is a cyclist, just in case you guys didn't know. We like to.
I bought it when I was in London on Sunday.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Andrew has another T-shirt that I sent him about. What's it say?
I do all my own stunts.
Do all my own stunts. Yeah. There's a video of Andrew melting gold in the palm of his hand with a torch. And I want to explain how he did it. It's just anybody who can do that deserves, to be their own stuntman.
I don't know. I'm just trying to find it now, actually, so I can pop a link on there for you. I don't know why I decided to do it. I really don't know. But there we go. Just from my stupid, childish nature, I expect.
Are you going to put a link in the chat there for you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can quickly find it amongst all of these on here. No, I can't see it. No. Anyway.
Well, the good news is that the chat box on the Blab continues to go on. So the Blab will be on our profiles, this particular Blab, and you can put it in the chat later, Andrew, if you'd like.
Yeah, sure thing.
Anybody who wants to go back and find that, feel free. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll just have to take our word for it, I guess, that that Andrew did indeed melt gold in his hand.
That's the main link to all the videos that I've got on YouTube.
Yes.
No, I don't know where it is now. Never mind, but it's on there. Have a look. There's some couple of stupid Andrew Berry and the bubble wrap. That's quite an interesting one to watch. But we won't go there.
Never a dull moment with you, Andrew.
No, you're right there. You're right there. No, I can't find it, but pop along to that link and have a look anyway. And then,
right.
Yes, if I find it, I'll pop it onto the chat.
All right. Okay, everybody. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks so much for joining us today. And choo choo, Kim, you can hear my train. I can't make it be quiet. It goes right behind my building here. So when the train comes at the end of the day, every day, we hear it. So sound effects in the studio. But again, thanks for joining us, everybody. And we will be back sometime in April, I guess, with our next Blab.
Next Blab, yes. We're not quite sure. Again, if you have any sort of idea on topics or anything that you want us to tell you or to show you, you're more than welcome to get in contact with either of us, whichever way you want to. And we can certainly consider it for a future Blab.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. And we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.